Happy Thursday! Mrs. Novell here for another really fun art lesson. Today we're going to be doing a piece of art that I was inspired by a famous female artist named Georgia O'Keeffe. She's a famous American artist and she was very well known for a lot of her flower paintings. She also did skyscrapers and things like that, but her flowers were just amazing. And going on walks these last couple days, I'm really starting to see spring in bloom, and it just made me think of her. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do two different flowers. I'm doing two different videos. So this is the first one. Her flowers, a lot of her paintings, you'll notice, they take up almost the entire canvas, the entire page. So that's what we're going for today. Think very big, not small, big. And we're gonna try to cover our entire page, which I know sometimes can be a little bit hard, but I'm gonna show you how to do each one and make it a little bit easier, I hope. So this one is like a California poppy, I would say. This one's a little bit more difficult, but I think kiddos can do both. I think maybe some will just need a little bit of help from an adult, mom, dad. But for the most part, it does not have to look like mine. It has to just be your creation and follow along as best you can. And this was another one that I did. This one also was kind of like a Georgia O'Keeffe flower that I came across a lot in her paintings. And this one, the difference is, same thing though, it's covering almost the whole page. There's a little bit more background. The blue is there's a little bit more of that. The center's a little bit different, and each petal had a line down this one. So each flower definitely has its differences, but each I think are really pretty. So I hope you guys have fun with this today, and maybe after you do this and you go on your walk, you'll see more flowers because of the beautiful art that you made in honor of Georgia O'Keeffe. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Videos are coming, 2 of them. Bye. All right, here we go. So, first thing we're going to do is make sure we have a black crayon. A black Twistable is fine. You might want to use a pencil to do this. I'm going to use the black crayon first because it's easier for you to see on camera. But if you want to start with pencil, you certainly can, and then trace it with your crayon. Very simple. So I think what we're going to do is this guy first. You can see one of the main things that I noticed of her art is that her flowers pretty much cover the entire page, or the entire if you would have seen one of her paintings, it would pretty much be the entire painting would be the flower with a little bit of the background. So that's what we're going to aim for today. We're going to try to make our flowers as big as we can without covering up the whole page, but just enough that we can just do a little bit of background. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with the center. So this time I'm going to make my center a little bit smaller than my other one. Okay, and then I think what I'm gonna do is add an extra kind of center around it, just like this, just kind of like a squiggly line. It kind of looks like a fried egg, but that's okay. All right, and then the next thing we're gonna do is you're gonna just start drawing some straight lines or curved lines out, straight or curved, whatever you wanna do. So I'm just going to draw mine kind of all over. Some will be longer than others. So now it looks really weird, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make some petals with these lines. These petals, I mean these lines are going to be our kind of our template. This is how we're going to space out our flower petals, okay? So now we're going to draw some really cool curved lines. So I'm going to start up top. Now, I want to make it look like this petal is going off the paper. So I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to do the other side there. And you can see how it's not entirely, it's not connected, they're not joining, it's staying open, going into that center of the flower, which is the pollen, of course. So now I'm going to do this one over here, and I'm going to make this one same thing. I'm going to have it come down. It's not going to be off the page though. And I'm going to curve around and come down like that. just like that. Now, does it have to look perfect? Like, does it have to look like this? No, it does not. Can your lines be a little bit different? Yes. Can your petal be thinner? Yes. Can it be fatter? Yes. It can be any of those things, okay? So now I'm going to do the same thing, but this time it's going to stop right here because this petal is going to stop it from going in, just like that. And you can see how our flower petals are starting to come together. And the same thing with this one. I'm going to make this one start at the top of my line, and then I'm going to curve back down here, okay? Just like that. And then I'm just going to connect these a little bit better down here so it looks like one petal is behind the other petal. So I think I'm just going to keep going. I think I'm going to make this line a little bit longer because I want this petal to be a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to have this one go off the page too. So I'm going to have it go here and there. Okay, and then I'm going to have this one go here, there. Now that petal's really big. Now see, that's what I'm saying though, is nothing is going to be exactly the same. So this painting, this flower is going to be looking way different than the other flower I did. So I'm going to keep filling in. There's another one here. Okay, and then another one right here. Okay, and so as I'm looking at my flower, I'm not seeing that it's as symmetrical as I'd like it to be, which means balanced. So this space right here, I'm going to go ahead and put another petal in there. Okay, and then this space right here, because I don't like this open space, I'm going to put another petal in here. And then this space is also empty to me, so I'm putting another petal here. Okay, and then one more right here, this space. I'm going to put another petal in here, like that. And let me see. It's actually starting to look better to me. And then this one's going to have a line. This one needs a line. You see that, guys? A line. So all of your petals will have a line going up the center of them. Okay, that just gives it a little bit more detail. Okay, so now with your crayon, I'm going to go inside this petal part of my petal, and I'm going to draw little tiny dashes with my crayon. Just like that. Just like that. Just little dashes with my crayon. See? Just like that. And then I might even do a few around the outside of that little circle. Just a few more, I don't know, just from some extra detail. And you can do whatever you want. You can keep filling those in if you want, or you can just keep it like that. You can do your center any way you want. If you want to do it the way I did it with this one, just the one circle, I kept it simple, you certainly can, okay? So that's up to you. So now, believe it or not, we're ready to start painting. So I'm going to use my watercolors today, and I did purple on my first painting was purple, but I think this time I'm going to do a little bit of, well, you know what, I think we'll stick to purple, okay? So I'm just going to get a little bit of water on my brush, get some purple, and I'm just going to start painting this beautiful flower. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to start painting it, and then we're going to take a look back at it and see what other details we can possibly add. So I'm going to use less water and more paint because I want this flower to be super bright and super brilliant. That's how I want mine to look. If you want yours to look a little bit more faded, you certainly can, but I love the bright colors. I think they come out so beautiful. Okay, so here's some more. I'm going to get more paint and less water, and then you see how that really brightens it up? It's perfect. So on my other painting, you can see I did a little bit of, I added another color. This was a mix of red and white and purple, and that's how I was able to make that, I guess that's kind of a reddish purple color, reddish pinkish color. But this one I'm just gonna, we'll just stick to the purple, and then maybe we can add a color at the end. So while we finish doing this, Deep coloring, making it nice and pretty. So there's a couple petals done. Now you can see where I probably need a little bit of water, but I'm still getting some good color there. So I think we'll just keep it that way. So I'm gonna color the inside real quick just so you can kind of see how I did mine before. This middle one can be yellow if you want, just like that. And then the outside one, I kind of did more of this orangey yellowish color, this one right here. I didn't even wash my brush off to get that one because I wanted it to be a little bit darker. Put a little bit of oranginess in there. Yeah, there we go. So it starts to look really cool once you get all your color and your paint. Now I want to show you something. So now that these three have kind of dried a little bit, I'm going to add another layer of the purple, but I'm only going to add it on the edge, just like that. So you can see how that's kind of highlighting the leaf, and it's giving it dimension, okay? That's making it kind of stand out. It's making it, you've heard the terms 3D and how it's sometimes when you look at things it looks like it's coming out at you. Well, dimension is what happens when I trace the outside of it, and it adds more depth to it. Okay, so wait for it to dry a little bit, and then at the end you can go back in and make it even darker. So you can add your depth and dimension. Those are some new words probably maybe for some of you. Okay, so now that the inside of my flower has dried a little bit, I'm going to do the same thing in there. I'm going to take a darker orange color than the yellow that I used, and I'm going to go around the edge of it. Just like that. I don't know if you can see that well on the camera, but I'm just going to go around the edge of it, and it adds some, what's the word? Depth and dimension and detail. And so I'm going to go on the inside a little bit too. So it just kind of makes it pop. That's why I love watercolor, because you can really do fun things with it. So this one's a little bit drier, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go along the edge and add some dimension to it. Now, another thing you can do is, now that this purple is kind of dried a little bit, if you want to add a different color to it, you can. So let's say I picked a little bit of red, and I decided to just kind of go in with my red very lightly to add a little bit more dimension and detail and depth. So all those fun words. So you can just start adding a little bit of color in there, a different color. So I'm choosing the red, and I'm just kind of lightly, I'm using more water, less paint, and making it a different kind of color. So as your paint dries, you can go back and add to it. Watercolor is super, super forgiving. I want to show you something. Like, let's say I went outside the line there. Whoops. Not a big deal, because watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my paintbrush. I washed it off. It's just water now. And I'm just going to start working it out with some water and getting it off of there. Now watch. It's eventually going to disappear. See? There it goes. Almost gone. So when you go to use your blue, you won't even know that that happened. So if I go to use my blue, you wouldn't even know that the purple had been there. Isn't that amazing? That's why I love watercolors. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys to your artwork. I cannot wait to see the finished product of these. I hope that you guys enjoy this and take your time and really put some effort into it. I will put this up on my wall so that way you can just have a picture of it, looking at it, and that way you're able to keep following along. But also use your own imagination. You definitely don't have to use purple. You can use whatever color you want to make your flower. If you want to make your flower rainbow, make it rainbow. If you want to make your flower green, make it green. If you want to make your flower all yellow, make it yellow. Do a beautiful sunflower. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to end this video, and then the next video that you'll see on my page will be of the poppy. All right? Thanks, guys. Have so much fun, and please show me your pictures. Bye-bye. Okay, lesson number 2 for the Georgia O'Keeffe flower. We're gonna attempt to do, it really could be any way. We're gonna attempt to do this, I think it kind of looks like a poppy. We have California, our state flower is the poppy, so let's give it a go. Now, you don't have to do it the same way I'm gonna do it. You certainly can draw the petals like I'm drawing if you want help, and then if you wanna make it yellow for sunflower or any other color, that's totally up to you. This is your art, and I love seeing how creative everybody is. So let's get going. First thing you're gonna need is a crown or a black twistable crown, whatever you would like to use. If you want to start with your pencil, you can. I'm gonna start with my crayons so you can see how I do it. So here we go. Let's start with our white page. My puppy is over in the corner, rolling around, having a good time. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do, just like our other flower, if you already saw that video, is we are going to draw a little circle in the center, just like that. And then around that circle, we're gonna draw a squiggly line. Again, it looks like a fried egg, like the other one did. And then one more, we're gonna do kind of like more of a pointy, just a little bit more detailed with the outline, so a little bit of straighter lines. I can't even explain what it looks like, but this is the beginning of our poppy. So here we go. So we're gonna start, we're just gonna start drawing some lines on our page, and I'm just gonna go for it, and I think you should be able to follow along. It's pretty simple. So I'm just gonna start right here, and I'm just gonna draw a line, curved line up that way. And then on the other side, I wanna finish that leaf or that petal, so I'm gonna do a curved line up that way. And then I'm gonna start another line right here on this petal, and it's gonna be more of a squiggly, kind of misshapen kind of petal, just like that. Kind of silly. There's really no reason or rhyme to it, just kind of a silly shape. Almost looks like a bell pepper if you ask me. So then the next one I'm gonna do is gonna come off of this petal, okay? And we're gonna just draw it. I'm gonna do another kind of wavy shape. And I think I'm gonna bring this one all the way in like this, okay? I'm gonna cover this part up. And then I'm gonna do an even bigger one. So it's gonna come off of here, and I kind of want it to almost go off the page, but not entirely. And I want it to be super curved down this way, okay? Just go for it. And then over here, I'm gonna draw another one kind of going off the page. Another one, and then one more down here, like this. And we gotta finish him off. So there he is, or she, or however, whatever we wanna call our flower. So I'm looking at it, and I want it to feel more balanced, and I feel like I need to have maybe one up here, just for balance purposes. Okay, and then I think I need one more on this side, again for balance purposes. And I think I'm gonna have this whole flower kind of going off the page. So I think this is gonna also be part of my flower here, this whole thing. And the only background I think I'm really gonna have is here and around here, okay? You can see that her flowers in the examples, most of them cover the entire page. That was kind of her thing, her signature, her rule, I guess you would say, whenever she painted flowers. Every flower was as big as the page, so which is really neat. So with my crayon, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make some just black little tick marks inside like this of the little tiny one. And then I'm also gonna do it kind of around the edge, I think, of the small one. Like that, just little lines, just for a little bit more detail. And then I think I might even do it around this one too, just cause, I don't know, cause I just feel like it. I don't even know if that's what a flower has, but that's something I would encourage everyone to do too, is go look at a flower, look at it really, really, really intently and see. So I'm just gonna add a little bit like that because I think the detail is really cool. So now we're ready to paint. So this one, compared to the other one that we painted on the first video, if you watched it, doesn't have the black lines on the petals. This one we're gonna keep whole, like this. And now we're gonna paint. So first paint I used when I did it the first time was red, so you're just gonna get, so in this painting I want you, if you're using watercolors, you're welcome to use crayons too, is to use more paint, less water, but just make sure that you're not drying out the brush, okay? So let's say let's start over here with this one. And I'm just gonna start filling it in. I'm gonna show you how we start to blend to make this kind of almost like poppies have almost like a coral color in a way. They're not as red as a rose, and they're not, oops, it's okay. Oh, it's 80. So being home, this is what happens on my videos. We just go with it. So as I'm filling in the red, I did it a little bit darker towards the center, and then now I'm going to get an orangey color. It's like a red orange, and I'm going to start going in like this, filling in. Now, like I said before, if you do not want to do these colors, you do not have to do these colors. I'm just showing you how we can blend watercolors and how easy it is. So now we've got the red, and you can kind of see the reddish orange. Now I'm going to go back to the red, okay? And I'm going to go back over some of the area that's kind of already drying to start blending, if you can see that. I'm going to start blending. I'm going to actually dip my brush in the red orange and the red, and I'm going to go over it until I get the color that I want. See? So now it's really starting to bring in that color. Now I think I need more red and less orange, so I'm going to go back and get my red. Okay. There we go. So that's one petal. And then once this dries, I will go back over it again to make it even brighter. So you can see here that there's even details around the edges, and that's supposed to give it more depth and dimension, which is what I said in the other video too. Those are two words in art that make art seem more realistic. So I'm going to go back over, let's see, I think I'm going to go over here and do this petal on the very, very edge. Okay. Get some more red. I'm just going to do this one red for now, and then I'm going to come back in and blend more color. Okay. So now let's move on to this petal. Same thing. We're just going to keep doing the red on the inside of the petal, and then I'm going to get the reddish orange. Let me show you on my palette. If you don't have that color, that's okay too. You could always use like a purple, or you can use the orange, just use more red than the orange. So this is the color I'm using. This is my red. So I'm going to get a little bit of water, and I'm going to start blending that one just to kind of give it a little bit more change. I'm going to actually get more red to put in there because I don't want it to be so orange. I want it to be more, there we go. Does everybody see that? See how that's working? There we go. Beautiful. And then I'm going to get more red and go back over it. So now that's more of that corally mango color, not so much a red or an orange. So yeah, okay. Now let's do this one. And then I'm going to show you another trick that's really fun. So why do we use black crayon? I think we all know the answer. Because it resists the paint. It's such a fun thing. I love black crayon. It's amazing. It's like magic. Okay, let me do a little bit more. A little bit more red, and then I'm going to start mixing in my beautiful, my orange, my reddish orange. See that? So I did a little bit of the reddish orange and the red together to create that. And that's looking really cool. Now that looks a little too orange to me, so we're going to fix that. Remember, there's no mistakes, just happy little accidents, and we have every tool to go back and make it right. See, look at that. Now it's really starting to come together. So you can kind of see the dimension already because of the difference in color. So this is something you can do with yellow and orange. This is something you can do with blue and purple. This is something you can do the way that I'm mixing the colors. This is the fun part about watercolors. I'm going to put another petal over here because I didn't feel like it was balanced. Watercolors are super, I don't even know the word, resilient. You can always fix anything. If something doesn't go right, you add a little bit more water, you add a little bit more color, and it just really, everything works. So now what I'm going to do is you can see over here that this one's kind of dried a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is get just a little bit of water and some red, and I'm going to go ahead and start outlining the edge of that petal, just like that. So that it starts, you see that, how much darker that is? So it starts to pop, kind of gives it a little bit more, there's that word, dimension. Okay, so you can see that it's adding a little bit more detail to it, and we can do the same with any of these. See, right there, just went around the edge of the crayon, and I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'm going to do the same thing there. And you can start doing that once most of them have kind of dried a little bit better. You can go around the edges just to add a little bit of extra detail to them. So just like that. So now I'm going to do this guy in the middle, the pollen, and I think I'll start with yellow. Do a little bit of yellow in there. Okay. And then I'm going to do this darker yellow. It's more of an orangish yellow to go around it. Just like that. Super easy. Okay. And then I painted that outer part black, which at first I was a little scared because I really am not a fan of the black color watercolor, but it turned out really good. So let's go for it. I think we can do this. So here's my black. Of course, it's the one with the most paint on it because I never use it. But we're going to use it today because I think it comes out more gray than black, and I think that's why it's a really good complement to the rest of the flower. So we're going to do this. Go around, we're going to color the black, and then I'm going to show you a trick again, just like we did with the petals. Okay, so we got our black on there, and that just really makes everything kind of pop. So now that the inside of my flower is a little bit drier, I'm going to use a little bit of orange, and I'm going to go around the edges of this center part with the orange to add a little bit of depth, dimension, there's that word. And in here too, I'm going to add a little bit in there just to add a little bit of color blending, so you can kind of see the orange in there a little bit. Okay, so the rest of your painting, when you finish these guys, the rest of your petals, then you can also do the background, which can be blue, or I guess any color you really want it to be, but you want to use enough water. Of course, I didn't get enough water on that one. So you're just gonna do your background, filling it in, being oh so careful, you know, just like that. If you get a little bit inside, what do? I got a little bit right here. There's a little tiny bit right there. Now I know that if I go over it with my red paint, it will go away, but you know what else will make it go away? Is water. So you just get a little bit of water and you apply it right there until it kind of starts to disappear. And that's all you do. That's how you fix your watercolor mistakes. It's super easy. Just like that. Okay, so you guys keep going with your beautiful art. I cannot wait to see the results of all of it. That's my favorite part. Let's see if I can get you guys up here. Hello. Okay, so hopefully both of these tutorials will be simple enough to follow. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'm happy to help. And I'll put all these pictures up on my page so you can see everything. And if you need any more inspiration on Georgia O'Keeffe, make sure you Google her. Check out all of her stuff. She's a pretty amazing artist. All right, talk to you guys later. Have a great Thursday. Bye.